get a new one. I had to go get passport pictures. Passport pictures taken the other day, and the guy showed them to me, and it was kind of scary. And I said, just so it gets me in and out of the country, that's all I want. But in my passport that I have to turn in, I have 3 big stamps for Cambodia. They're really kind of cool looking. And it just doesn't say the country or the Republic of Cambodia. It says the Kingdom of Cambodia, where there's still a king. And when you stand and preach in the Kingdom of Cambodia about the Kingdom of God, there's a part of you that feels a little subversive. Now, kingdom is country, land, boundaries, borders. I purchased last week in an estate sale, I purchased an early edition of Gone with the Wind, published in 1936. And I can't wait. In fact, I started rereading it last night because there are just some lines in that book, and I don't know if I picked them up and they've been embedded in me because I read them in the book or I saw them in the movie. But one particular, you remember Gerald O'Hare, which is Scarlett's father, and he is unhappy with her because she is not taking up the heritage of her property of Tara. And he turns to me and he said, and he turns to Scarlett, I'm sorry. He turns to me too. I always wish I was Scarlett with that little 18-inch lace. I never had an 18-inch lace, ever. But he says, you mean to tell me, Katie Scarlett O'Hara, that you don't treasure this land? That this land means nothing to you? Why, that's the only thing worth working for, fighting for, dying for, the land. Now, the kingdom of God has land. We talk about the promised land, people being moved to that land, and it has to do with land. In fact, if this church has one unique, immeasurable, priceless treasure, it's those 11 acres sitting up there on that corner waiting for us. For us to be on that corner and to gather there and worship in that place, and for that to be the kingdom of God in North Lafayette for us to proclaim, and every inch of that property full of what makes a church a church. The good news is, though, the church is still the church, right? When we gather in this place, I'm not real wild about this place, but it's okay. We still have church. The songs and the prayers and the people, what makes the church is still here. And one day, what makes us a church combined with the property, there will be a reality of where Jesus is Lord up on that corner, and I can't wait until that day happens. But sometimes we struggle, and this has been a struggle. You have been deeply, deeply challenged. It's not easy. Even with a great building, even with no note, it is hard to be in a church. Because it is about another reality of life. I was on an airplane a couple of years ago, and I was reading Dakota, written by Kathleen Norris, one of the great spiritual writers of our time. She was writing about 2 churches in the Dakotas. There was a town church and there was a country church. Now, both of these churches are struggling because nobody moves to the Dakotas. And all of their children, of course, were moving to the city. So they were fearful. Fearful about surviving. Fearful about being faithful. And the town church was just closing in on itself. It was so afraid. And she was so amazed that if she went to the town church, she experienced that. But when she went to the country church, they weren't growing each other either. They had a sense of community that she did not experience in the town church. And I'm reading about this story, and I'm looking at the town church and the country church through her eyes, and I'm thinking about my own church experience and how the church struggles. And we're on an airplane, and I'm on the back of the seat. And we are flying home, and there's a little bit of turbulence. In fact, I can see the lightning out the windows, and I know that it's going to get a little bumpy. And the guy next to me obviously had not flown a lot. Because every time, and we're on the last seat, so you really get the up and down. I'm reading my book. He's doing the white knuckle number. But I'm looking at these churches and I'm engrossed in my story. And there's a part of me, all of a sudden, I get it. And I almost want to jump out of my seat. Not for fear of the storm, because I see in the contrast of two communities of faith the difference in being a church and the difference in being gathering people gathered around the Lordship of Jesus Christ. The town church, two elements. They didn't love each other. And they were frightened. Those are two separate things. They didn't love each other. They didn't love each other deeply to get them through getting crosswise with each other, being unhappy with each other. They didn't trust each other in that. And they were scared to death of their future. They didn't know what the next generation of the church would look like. They didn't love each other. They didn't love each other. And they were frightened. But the country church, when they gathered from their tasks, from the fields, from the farms and ranches, they loved each other. And they were not afraid of the future.